Yeah, thank you for reaching out. Well, my name is Kevin Solval. I'm an assistant professor of food process engineering from Food Science and Technology. I'm based in Griffin, Georgia. And well, speaking of my academic background, I'm originally from Guatemala, born and raised. When I was finishing high school, I always had an interest for the food industry. And unfortunately, at the time, there were not really good universities in Guatemala, to pursue a food science, food processing degree. And the only option that I had was to either enroll maybe in chemical engineering department, or go overseas or abroad, enroll in a food science program. So then I came across a program in Honduras at Zamorano University, which is on another country. It's a university that only has four majors, a small university. But one of those majors that they offer is food science and technology. So when I learned about their program, was really fascinated by it. All the things the students were doing, the great faculty, the great professors that were teaching the program. So decided to apply, and I applied for the program. So thankfully, I got accepted, and I got a partial scholarship to attend the university. So that's why I moved to Honduras, and for the next for next 4 years, I study food science. And it was a really nice environment where I could interact with people from pretty much all Latin America except Brazil. We're not many Brazilians in Zamorano University. But it was a great experience. I remember back in college when we were working in commercial scale processing facilities that are actually on campus. So we're working in dairy plants, meat processing facilities. They have also really nice product development laboratories, really nice food chemistry labs. And so that definitely, helped me to um, consider pursuing a graduate degree. So when I was a senior, I had the opportunity to come to Louisiana State University, Department of Food Science, as an intern. So I worked in the lab of Dr. Subramanian Sativille for 4 months as an intern when I was a senior at Zamorano. So and after that internship, that's a short time. Dr. Sativille offered me to return as a master's student. He asked me to apply for the master's program at LSU, and that's why that's how I ended up applying to the program. So I took that as an opportunity to improve my communication skills, learn a little bit about um, the graduate school, and a little bit more about the scientific program here in the U.S. Before that, I actually never had any interest of coming to the U.S. to study at all. That's not really common back in Guatemala. 99% of my friends in Guatemala never left the country to pursue a graduate degree or anything. Probably because they don't need it, and that, and I think it's also related with like the language barriers. So there, Guatemala unfortunately doesn't have a good bilingual system. So that was kind of the constraints that we were facing back there. Anyways, I came back as a master's student. Worked in the lab of Dr. Sativille for a couple of years. I got my master's degree. I always want to go back to Guatemala, or want to go back to Latin America. But then after I finished my master's degree, he asked me whether I was interested in pursuing a PhD. Um, in his lab, in his group, and then it took me a while to think about it, and then I decided to stay a little bit longer. So I applied for the biological and agriculture engineering department, where he is an adjunct faculty. So I got admitted into the program, the PhD program, and for the next 4 years, I work on different types of projects related to food innovation, value addition, food engineering. Presented, our results in main conferences. Wrote peer review articles, and I was really happy, with the work that I was doing. I was really fascinated. But again, everything that I was doing, I always had a plan to go back to Latin America. Sometime at some point in my life. But then, um, after some years working with my in my PhD, I met my now wife, who is from Brazil. So we got married in 2014, and so we decided to maybe stay in a neutral zone. So which is the U.S. now. And after I finished my PhD, I didn't have a strong interest to join academia. I always wanted to go to industry, but then my first job offer was for a teaching position, academic position. My advisor always wanted me to apply for academic positions, perhaps because he saw something that I couldn't see at the time, in me. And so I taught for a couple of years at the University of Holy Cross in New Orleans. So I was teaching physics courses, advanced physics, food processing courses, and at the time I also was working with a food innovation center in Norco, Louisiana, helping small entrepreneurs, small companies, to develop new products. I did that for a couple of years. Then after 2 years, I decided that it was time for me to move on to to a bigger challenge. Because unfortunately, at the University of Holy Ghost, I didn't have a research appointment, and so I was mainly teaching and working in this extension position. And I wanted to I want to continue with publishing papers. I wanted to have a lab, wanted to have students, and I got a position at nanotechnology company in Dayton, Ohio, where I managed spray drying operations of the company. We were making energy storage products. My area expertise is spray drying. So I was, managing all the spray drying operations, spray drying team. We're doing a lot of work, exciting work with spray drying. Work with material scientists and materials engineers. Fortunately, I wasn't working with foods, right? So, but I really liked that position. I was having really a lot of fun till, I saw the announcement for my current position. And so, sure enough, my major professor, encouraged me to apply. I know, working for University of Georgia, it's a privilege and it's a very competitive. But I decided to apply. Never thought I was going to get it. I wanted to get the position to apply. I got invited for interviews, and fast forward, almost that was 5 years ago, and here I am. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your research here at the University of Georgia.
Sure. Well, part of the work that I do currently is to add value to underutilized commodities. For example, we're working with projects related to adding value to cannonball jellyfish. So cannonball jellyfish is one of the largest fisheries by landings in Georgia. So there are huge amounts of jellyfish. Traditionally, jellyfish in Georgia is salted dry. It's caught from December to May, and then it is salted dry for a couple of weeks and put it on buckets. And then every more than 90% of that production is sold to Asian markets. The problem came like 3 or 4 years ago, where the U.S. started having trade wars with China specifically. So the company, jellyfish company here in the U.S. wasn't selling a lot of salted dry jellyfish to Asian markets. So they wanted to do something else. And when I joined UGA in 2018, I was reached out by the seafood extension specialist, Doris Stivers, who sent me an email out of the blue. She said, "Hey, Kevin, I saw your background. You're coming from LSU. I know LSU has a strong seafood processing program, and I wonder, if you have some seafood processing, background or expertise that can help our struggling jellyfish industry." And right away, we made a connection. She explained the main challenges that the industry was facing at the time. And then, I think the original idea was to develop like ready to eat foods, frozen foods from jellyfish. But I had another vision. I had another, idea of, utilizing jellyfish as raw material for other products. So that's how we started, studying what are the other things, nutrients or bioactives that are in jellyfish. And soon after we had this conversation, I got some samples from, jellyfish. The company sent me a couple of samples, but my master student, I believe was a master student, that started working on these, and we identified that jellyfish, cannibal jellyfish, has in fact a lot of collagen, marine collagen. So we got really excited. So because collagen, as you may know, it's a really nice, it's an interesting hydrocolloid with different properties, and it's raw material for so many ingredients, with interesting, physical chemical properties. And we got excited, and the original idea was to make gelatin powders. So collagen is the raw material for gelatin powders. And why do we want to make gelatin powders? And the main reason is because collagen has a very low solubility in water, so it's not really variable soluble in water. But gelatin, on the other hand, is highly soluble in water. And better than that, it can provide. It has gelatin properties. So we started working on extracting collagen from jellyfish, and processing it further so we could have gelatin powders, and that's how we started working on that idea. Again, always with the idea of developing novel food ingredients, right? So because there is not really jellyfish gelatin ingredient in the market right now, as far as I know. But and then and that happened, and then we started working on applying for funding, and we submitted this application to USA NIFA Foundational Program, and they really liked the idea. They saw really big potential for cannibal jellyfish as a source of marine collagen, and with many potential applications, including food ingredients, in cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, biomedicals, and of course material sciences. So that's kind of the work that we are doing right now. I have worked with other commodities as well. We have done work with satsumas. We have done work with Georgia grown pomegranates. We have done work with blueberries, and now we're working with peaches. Again, trying to utilize byproducts, and also add value to fresh products. So that's kind of what my research has been focused on the last 4.5 years, and I think we're excited for the results we're seeing. We're excited for all the support that we have received over the years, from the department, and also from our collaborators across the country.
All right. So I know that to obtain these jellyfish that you use in your research, you have to go out physically and go fishing for them. So tell me about your latest jellyfish fishing expedition.
Great. One of the things that we are very interested on is just studying whether the type of collagen varies, depending on the time the jellyfish is harvested. So last year, we learned about this huge jellyfish operation in Mexico. I'm gonna start with that. Um, so we were really fascinated because, again, our marine extension and Georgia Sea Grant connection, Toris Tivers and Brian Fluke, they reached out to us and said, "Hey, Kevin, we heard that it's a huge jellyfish operation in Mexico, similar to the one that is in Georgia. And, are you interested in, creating a collaboration with them?" But I think was yeah, that was last summer, and it happened that I had a conference in San Diego, California, around the same time. And so I said, well, I will be in San Diego, and this jellyfish operation is just 4 hours away from San Diego. And I said, well, I wanted to go and see how they're catching, how they're processing jellyfish. So I invited one of my PhD students to go with me. So after my conference in San Diego ended, we decided to go to, Golfo de Santa Clara in Baja California, Mexico, and we were really fascinated. Like, over the years of doing, this type of research, we have learned that jellyfish is one of the few species, marine species, whose biomass is going to increase in the next few years, and that may be due to different related to climate change. Oceans are getting warmer, oceans are getting more acidic, which is killing a lot of the jellyfish predators, and that's creating a really nice environment for jellyfish to thrive. So that was a really an exciting experience. We were able to jump in the small boats, and catch jellyfish. They catch jellyfish in Mexico, a different way that they catch it in Georgia. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to go to Mexico and see what type of jellyfish they were catching and how comparable that is. Uh, and besides, it was a good opportunity to establish new relationships for with the global jellyfish industry. Um, Now, jellyfish season in Georgia started in December, and I think it was last month we decided to go in on a jellyfish trip. We were invited by a local fisherman, to jump in a boat and catch jellyfish in the ocean, which is really, really fascinating. We had a really nice experience. And I didn't, being a food scientist, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to see how food is grown, how the food is harvested, how the food sometimes is, processed. And so for me, it was a really nice experience, to see how jellyfish is actually, caught and, processed in the rural coastal communities of Georgia. So yeah, I took again my PhD student. So we decided to go and get some, fresh jellyfish samples. I spent a couple of days. I think 24 hours, 24 hours, around 24 hours in the boat. Nice experience. And we're able to catch, fresh jellyfish that we're actually using for our research.
In the future, what would you like your research to accomplish? And how do you think our department, the UGA Food Science and Technology Department, will help you accomplish that?
That's a very good question. I think we have incredible group of people, talented people in our department, incredible facilities, great support. Um, One of the things that I want to do with my research program is actually, help our local food industry, meaning Georgia or, the American food industry to develop new products. So we're developing, all these new methodologies, new strategies to process novel and, and healthier foods, so the industry can make better decisions at developing their own products. And I think, with the support that we have here in UGA Food Science and Technology, we are able to do that. So here in Griffin, we have different capabilities. We have also the Food Product Innovation Center, Food Peak, and I'm really grateful that I collaborate with Food Peak on a regular basis. So we see a lot of industry people. We see a lot of researchers that are interested in or have the same interest that I have regarding developing new products. Well, that's just one part of the work that I currently do. I also work with on other projects with food microbiologists in food safety faculty here. We do process optimizations. We also do equipment design, and that's kind of the beauty of being on this position, because I have the ability to do or to explore different ideas, of course, with the help of other experts in the field. So I think that's kind of, where I want to go, moving on. I wanted to, create a community or create a program here in Griffin that it's widely recognized for the work that we do. But more importantly than that, I think for me at least, it's one of the reasons why I like being in academia or an academic position is to train students. I like definitely that's one of the things that I like the most in my current positions. Train students, see them growing. I like to encourage them to do a little work and good work. Like to mentor them as well, push them, so they can grow it, they can learn. I like to expose them as, to many opportunities as possible. So when they graduate from our program, they are capable of doing the work that is required outside.
What makes our department stand out to you?
There are many things that I think, makes our department stand out. Well, like I said, we have incredible group of talented people in both campuses, in Athens, Griffin. We have, great facilities. We have great equipment. We have, a lot of different support that sometimes I'm not completely aware of, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm continuously learning about all the resources that UGA offers to faculty, students, and everybody that is actually part of this community. I think that's a great advantage of being part of UGA Food Science and Technology, is to recognize that we have that support platform that we have is huge. If we can definitely take advantage of that, that will definitely help us to move forward a lot faster in whatever we're working on. And I think that definitely something that the department is good at. I like the diversity of the department. I like the diversity in thinking, the diversity in our faculty body and student body, and also on the staff. So I think we have a great potential for continue growing. I think we got good leaders that are helping our department to move forward with great vision, and I think that's also a great asset.
Thank you so much for meeting with me, Dr. Solval, and thank you for being our first professor on Faculty Focus.
Thank you very much for reaching out. It's a pleasure always to talk to you.